Hello, good evening. We're going to learn Spermicist. So now we're going to continue. We have visited actually three of the different sects after the upheaval have scrambled the world, and the king is lost, queen is lost, their daughter is lost, her son is lost, the warrior is lost, the master of prayer is lost, the treasurer is lost, the orator is lost, the friend is lost. I mean, it's like, so that leaves people who are seekers with the responsibility of trying to find what matters, what is the tachlis in life, what's the purpose of life. So we visited one, being that they're using their own wisdom, so they're disconnected themselves from Kodesh Baruch Hu. In everything that they find out, there is a grain of truth. But because they're relying on their own minds, they end up being grotesquely twisted. So the first one, where people are saying that honor is the be all and end all, and they end up, so who's going to be their king? Somebody who's running after honor and has achieved honor and is make sure to have this honor at all time. And you end up with Putin. You end up with ridiculous choices. And so this group ended up with a mute, a hunchback, gypsy, and they took him for a king, and they went to a country that is auspicious to this kind of, to honor him. And the second group, the second sect looked, they said that killing is the death and killing, murder is the tachlis of everything, because we see that everything, the law of nature is that the entropy, the everything is basically degenerating into ends up at falling apart. That order always precedes chaos, and so they took themselves as a king, somebody who killed his mother and father, and we explain what that means as far as we are concerned. So, and then we got to the third sect, which talks about the people that said that the Indian is to partake only in very refined foods in this world. It's mamish, not people's food. This is the Nekudas Haemes in this is very blatant. Looking for tzaddikim that totally don't partake of this world at all. That they have to eat. They eat the minimum possible and eat it with tremendous kedusha. And being that they could not find somebody like this, so they went for second best. Second best is somebody who's very rich, that and a Epicurean that doesn't eat the regular food of regular people, but everything that he has to eat is as cordon bleu and 3 or 4 Michelin stars, because the kind of food that that regular people don't eat. In the meantime, until they find a true tzaddik, this shows you that that Like they still don't get it, because the people who are Epicureans and hedonists that would eat only, would import sushi from, live in Moscow and would import sushi from London, in a special plane. It's not because they are uh, um, uh, far from Taivas Achila, but fakir. They are into Taivas Achila to the greatest extent possible. And this is what we have learned so far. And today we will visit the next sect. So let's just take a quick look here. And here is the text of Sipur Maisius. Just 1 second. Let me close this. And here we go. And okay. Next sect. One sect said that a beautiful woman ought to be king. For the main purpose is that the earth be settled with people, because that is why the world was created. And because a beautiful woman arouses that desire, causing the world to become more settled, since there will be more people. Hence, she brings people to the purpose, to the tachlis. Therefore, a beautiful woman is fit to be king. And they chose themselves a beautiful woman, and she became king over them. And they sought themselves a land conducive to this, and they went there and they settled there. We all know, that the Zohar Kodesh talks about the union of beauty. Talks about the midah of the Malchus, that they took to this world, the whole tachas of this world is actually to reveal the Malchus the Kedusha. I mean, so the people will know that the Kodesh Baruch Hu rules and he's the king of the world, and we have to serve him and to pray to him and to do what he wants and to do his mitzvahs. And when you actually fix the Malchus the Kedusha, unbelievable beauty emanates from it. And it resides in all the holy things, the Torah, the mitzvahs, Nafesh Yisrael, because they are all connected to the midah of the Malchus. But the time when the Malchus falls down, because Malchus is very easily damaged, because when a person takes the Malchus to himself, instead of giving the Malchus to Kadosh Baruch Hu, who owns it, but you take it for yourself. I'm the one who's going to be. I'm leading. I'm the one who calls the shots. The Malchus falls down. Am Yisrael don't do what Kadosh Baruch Hu wants them to do, and they are pulled after back Taivas. So Mimela, the grace, the beauty falls down to the klippos, and it rests on the silliness and stupidity of this world. And that was, then, in it used to be, I don't know if it's like this today, I don't know, but years ago, when Nike came up with sneakers, Air Jordan sneakers, and it became such a thing that kids in the inner cities would actually kill one another for a pair of Air Jordans. That means that the chen falls into the grace, the attractiveness falls, to the klipot. Mimele, that this particular sect fell into this, and they made beauty itself into a cause celebre. They made beauty itself the tachlis. Beauty is the result of proper kedusha, of proper malchus, of proper submission to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Beauty comes out of that automatically. But when people make beauty into the tachlis of everything, that means that the only thing that is really important is just the surface. because beauty is, they say, skin deep. It's just it's just a taiva. There's nothing have to do with it. When the malchus represents a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and it expresses a Kadosh Baruch Hu, then then the result is beauty automatically, because it reflects the beauty of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, the glory of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. But when people for Malchus Kedusha falls down, and people go after, the thing that is, the lowest hanging fruit, as it were. What happens is, they make a tachas out of this, and they make beauty, beauty king, beauty queen, beauty this, beauty that, and the main thing is, of course, is the Yetzer Hara for Rayas, this is and they give the chen to this particular Yetzer Hara. I mean, we don't have to talk a lot about that. I mean, this is so obvious. This is what this world is going about. Who is famous? Somebody who has this kind of beauty, and really the fashioning of the human body is a very, very, very exalted thing. And it alludes to the connection of the spheres. B'Tselem Elokim bara Adam, the Kadosh Baruch Hu created Kadosh Baruch Hu in His image, as it were. That causes the body itself to have ribui or. There's too much light, coming until the body has to be covered. It has to be covered tzniistic, so the klipas would not hold out to that light. That's because there is a specific chen and beauty that resides on the physicality of men. But when the chen, when the attractiveness is separated from Shem Yisbarach, and you put it on to the Yetzer Hara, that's the corruption of attractiveness. This is not attractiveness. And this particular sect made from the Yetzer Hara this Yetzer Hara Tachlis, and what it did, it embedded it in mitzvahs. It's a great mitzvah, to settle this world, and it's true. I mean, the Zohar Kodesh says that anybody who doesn't leave an offspring, or doesn't try to leave an offspring behind him, cannot get behind the parga, to get into the inner sanctum of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because every single child that is born, it's another expression of the Kedusha. And every single Jew that is in the world is unique, new expression of the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And without the Yetzer Hara, for these things, I mean, there will be no impetus, for giving birth. So this Yetzer Hara, which is, the beautiful woman, the Fastor, brings to the Tachlis. I mean, when it's B'Kedusha, Taka brings to the Tachlis. And in this itself, there is a kernel of truth that is embedded, because really, the unification B'Kedusha, is incredible. I mean, it's incredibly exalted. And when it's done B'Kedusha and B'Tahara and Lishma, it actually causes the yichud in all the elements, in all the upper realms. As Rabbeinu says in Torah Lamed Aleph, that there is a ruach. We know about Sefer Yeshua that ruach represents this particular inclination. That is ruach tzafoin, which is kodesh, which is extremely holy, and from there, the getting together of a husband and wife it comes from this. But the thing is that you have to connect this inyan, the whole inclination to a Kodesh Baruch Hu, to do everything. That the purpose is not a personal pleasure, but the purpose is the Yichud Kol Shabbat Chol Shchinta, Benu says that there is a kosher couple in this world. That at all times there is a one kosher couple that the husband is such a tzaddik, and the woman is such a tzaddikus that when they actually come together, he says the Yichud Kutchav Yichud Shchintei, Kadosh Baruch Hu and his Shechina and in his presence is that's the Yichud. It means that Kadosh Baruch Hu is Kutchav Yichud. I mean, the Kadosh Baruch Hu is the way he is, as it were, beyond, without being constricted. The Shechina is the Kadosh Baruch Hu the way it is evident in this world, from Kadosh Baruch Hu's deeds, from or whatever, and they become one. And it's an intimate connection. This particular sect that we spoke about have chosen for themselves a beautiful woman, and the whole purpose for them doing it is for them to have more fun. This is what they did. That this is the reason why they wanted to do it. Now, it is really a cardinal point, because this particular inclination, this particular taiva, for taivas notion, is the central test that a person is put to in this world. Everything depends on that, and that's the main nisayon that the person is put in this world. And the thing is that any kind of holding back that the person is able to hold back when it comes to this particular nisayon, a person is achieving an immense profit spiritually. It may seem like, I don't know, what did I do? But I had an immoral thought, and I stopped it in the middle. Or, I was speaking to someone, I was looking, whatever it is, and I stopped it. It seems like, what did they do? It's no big deal. I understand, people want to go, but this, what? It's a huge thing. It's a huge thing. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai calls this particular inclination, this particular taiva, he calls it this particular taiva. He says when he saw beautiful women, he said, do not go after foreign idols. Don't commit idolatry. It's mamash avodah zarah, and it's tremendous. It's a tremendous nisayon, and it hides himself in everything. Just thinking about it, reading books about it, seeing movies about it, seeing pictures of it. All this kind of thing is immediately, it zooms in onto the person's, the core of all taivas. As Rabbeinu says, in Torah Test, it says that the Ikar taiva, the main taiva of all 70 nations, is that particular taiva, is immorality, is in the union of Arias and the union of this is the prime union that actually unites all the nations in the world. Now, the thing is that the 70, the 70 midas res, and basically all the nations have all of them, but each one has one specific taiva that in which it is greater than, it's more intense. than others. Because Baruch Hu wanted to give the Torah. So he went to the nations, and the first thing that he says, would you like to receive the Torah? Before he come to Am Yisrael, before he came to Am Yisrael, he went to all the nations in the world and said, would you want to receive the Torah? And the first thing that they said is, what's written in it? Just think about it. The king is coming to you, and he says, would you like to receive the most precious gift that I can give you, I can give men? Because the world was created for Torah. Because Torah means when you behave according to Torah, you are getting closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's tachlis. It's a reason why the world was created. So when the King of all kings comes to you, he says, do you want to receive the Torah? The first thing that they do is they ask, what's written in it? I mean, are you nuts? The king wants to give you the biggest gift there is, and you want to know what it is before you say, I want it or I don't want it. So Kodesh Baruch Hu says, okay, if that's the way you are, okay, I'm going to tell you from in the Torah that the mitzvah that I have to do in the prohibition of that particular taiva that you are most tied to and addicted to. This one in murder, this one in immorality, and this one in stealing, and this one in this. So the minute they heard this was, oh, we can't do this. This is, I mean, that's our tachlis. This is why we exist. This, as we said, this every single sect, took those particular things as the tachlis. That's the purpose of creation. How can we live, to eat good food, or we live, for lawlessness, or we live for loose morality, or we live for murder, or we live for stealing, or we live. I mean, that's their main akuda. They all have all the types, but that's each one has a main akuda, and there's one particular type that as Tolkien said, one ring to bind them all is that taiva of immoral behavior in the inyonim of intimacy. That's the biggest pagam that there is, but at the same time, it is also the biggest ladder to go up and come close to Kodesh Baruch Hu. We tend to look at things as it's all or nothing. Either you do or you don't. If you do, forget about it. You're the worst there is. And if you don't, it doesn't work like that. It's not an all or nothing proposition. It is all, just a tiny dot of an inclination, of working, of wanting to get there. So if a person is struggling, with surfing the internet, or watching movies, or reading books that have different kind of not sneistic thing in them, and a person is saying, I'll watch the movie, and we'll come to that particular part, I will just skip it. Come on, let's be serious. Even if you skip it, the whole thing is Moshe Leitzin. The whole thing is but the thing is that the person can see that a person that there could be two people who are watching the movie, or the same person. At one time, he watches movies and he does look at those scenes, because those movies, without this, they wouldn't be popular. And he looks at it, and many times he looks at it for so often that it doesn't really even do anything to him. He's so desensitized to lack of kedusha. And the same person watching the same movies, but skipping that particular part, or not looking at, or just like blocking out and not looking when something not sneeze is on the screen. So somebody looks from the side and says, "Who are you kidding?" You're looking from between your fingers to see is it over yet, or you're looking, you're trying to see, the Yetzirah comes in. These two people, or these two occasions, are not even resembling one another. In the first one is total hefker. The second one is there's already an nisayon is only you're already working on yourself, to sanctify yourself. And achinami, a person needs to sanctify himself in every single nakuda, whatever it is that you can do. And achinami that you shouldn't watch movies at all. You shouldn't read books, that has lurid descriptions or whatever it is, not saying and achinami. But you're saying, and when you don't do it at all, avada, it's better. But when somebody is doing it and he comes to that particular part when the needs thing are being shown, and he skips that, he's already on the way to not watching movies at all. But somebody, the Yetzirah says, looking, there's no difference whatsoever. He's still watching movies. Okay, so you're doing you're not watching the dirty parts. When a person is in a specific position in his life, you can't condone doing something which is not tznius. There's so many things that are wrong with watching movies, surfing the internet, and whatever it is. A bittul Torah, the Moshav Leitzim, it's a lot of different things, and it cools down the Yerushalayim. It has very bad influence, very automatically. The Stapler said, at the time there was the television was just like he said, just glimpsing on it already cools down a person's Yerushalayim. And if any of you has ever taken upon himself a tinus internet and tinus movies, a tinus farm, a tinus whatever it is, and he says, I'm not good, you would see that for as long as this tinus lasts, even if you fall down afterwards, as long as the tinus lasts, you enjoy Gan Eden, literally. So you learn, suddenly you have time in learning. Then you fall down because that's all right. He says, what do you think? You want me to hold your coat and you want to cheer you on? What else? Of course, I'm going to look. You have to bring you down, you dumbbell. That's what you expect. No, but the thing is that even if one step, you just do a little thing to hold your type back, a little thing not to look, it's already a great thing. And a chinami should work on the whole thing to get away from you. And because the thing is, any kind of addiction, and it's an addiction. I'm not talking about somebody who surfers the net, whatever it is, 24/7. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about everybody is addicted to this because I'm bored and because I'm depressed and because I'm tired and because I'm whatever the reasons might be. But if you are able to hold your taiva even once, it's a tremendous thing. I went there or whatever it is, and I didn't look once. Or there was a book, and I knew what this book contains. I know. And I really feel like doing it, I'll take it to the bathroom. I'm not talking about, I'm not going to read it outside or whatever. And he said, no, I'm not going to do this. One. It's tremendous. It's tremendous as you can hold on to it. Whenever times are tough, you say, I didn't do this. Once, I didn't do it. I didn't look. I didn't read. I stayed away from it once on this particular type of Fifa store. It's immense. It's immense. How much more so if you're able to cleanse yourself on this? It's fantastic. That's the main type in this world. They said that that we're reading on Motzei Shabbos. Two Shabbosim ago, we learned about the Rebbe Melech that one of the tzaddikim came to his son, Rebbe Bluzer, and he asked him, "What was your father's last will and testament?" And he said that if you want to know what his last will and testament, just take a look at Noam Elimelech, because for the past, the last 22 years of his life, every single day, every single turn, whatever he spoke, every single day was his last will and testament. So we're looking at it going like, wow, this is like, oh, that's heavy duty, like, wow. But the point is that it puts a spotlight on the Kula of reality. B'ezrat Hashem, we're all alive, we all live B'ezrat Hashem a long life. Good health, nachas, everything. The fact that we look at today as today, and the last day as something that lies in the future, actually disregards the fact that the last day is also a day. It's also a today. There'll be a today that's the last one. And we don't know which one it is. We don't know. Chazal said, Pirkei Avos, do tshuva one day before you pass away. One day before. It's the truth. It's reality. So when I make a decision, when a person makes a decision, I'm going to read this, or I'm going to watch this, or I'm going to do this, it says basically what when I do this, what I'm saying is, I got time. I got time. It's like what they say, Echter v'ashuv. I'll watch it, I'll do tshuva, I'll leave it. I'll just read this book and then I'll stop. Or I'll just watch this movie and then I'll stop. Whatever it is, and then I'll stop. Or I'll think this thought and then I'll stop. And I'll say this thing and then I'll stop. It's besides the fact that a person doesn't know, when his last day is. Besides that, what you do, what I do today, stays with me forever. So I'm not talking about Averis. I'm not talking doing something which is the hepech of the Ratzon HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I mean, there's enough talk about that. I don't know if there's enough talk about it, but people talk about that. But I'm saying, look at it the other way. You hold yourself from not doing something which is against the Ratzon HaKadosh Baruch Hu, especially in this particular area. What is chus? What a winning lottery ticket you have in your hands. It doesn't matter, you live to another 1,000 years. You have something which will never, ever expire, no matter what happens to you tomorrow. You got it. Right now, you got it, and you're running with it. You got it. You got it. It's an olam haba. You're going to come to an abundance. It's like, wow, look what he brought. This 1 minute of not doing something that he wanted to do. Is yes, I to do it. It was a big deal, You want, and then you do tshuva. Come on, don't be a fanatic. It's just like loosey goosey. You didn't be one of the guys. That's it. And you didn't do it. You wanted to, and you didn't do it. Wow, 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 wow. This is amazing. Forever. It's very easy. You take out. If you do this, what happens? Forget about it. You chop in your hand now, it's a wow. It is a wow. It's unbelievable. And I'll tell you more. The more precious it is for you, the more happy you are with the fact that you fought a battle and you won one battle, 1 minute or an hour, whatever it is. 1 minute, you won one battle. The happier you want with that, the better are your chances for winning more battles, and build upon it. The Yetzer doesn't want you to be happy with that. I did it. Okay. Oh, Hashem, come on. Don't get me wrong. Of course, I'm happy I didn't know, whatever it is. But okay. Now I can. Okay, I got it. I got it in the bag. All right. Now I can just, lower down the standards a little bit. The happier you are with a good thing that you do, the better are your chances to become better at everything. And maybe Yitzchak used to say, "Lirgaim tivchanenu." David HaMelech says, you are testing us minute by minute. By Rabbeinu it says Chaye Moran, the life of Moran. And Nosson says is his own autobiography is called Yemei Moran. He was tested by days, not by the entire life, but day by day. And we are tested lirgaim for minutes, second by second. We are. It says as the Midrash says, like a pecking of a rooster that goes around and on the garbage heap, and picks out a kernel of wheat. That's the way we pick up mitzvahs. That's the way we pick up gems out of this world. We're walking around a garbage heap. Anybody look and says, what do you want from me? I say, you don't have a yacht. You don't have this. You don't live in a palace. You don't this. I heard. You want to know something? You want to know something unbelievable? The King of England, Charles, you know how frugal he is? He is wearing some of his clothes more than once. Wow. Unbelievable. He doesn't have anything. Yichap, one thought less, one look less. Chap it, dance with it. Talk to Kodesh Baruch Hu about it. You can hang on to it. It's a rock solid hanging point, like because we are like mountaineers. We'll look at a place and then we knock in, this stud into the rock, and we put a rope around it, and we sort of like climb it or whatever it is, and underneath is like the abyss and whatever it is, one wrong step, whatever it is. If you found a good place where you stuck the stud into the rock, and it's a strong rock, and you stuck it in, and you put it. One single mitzvah on this Inyan is an incredibly strong stud stuck into a rock that you can hang your entire life on. You can build your entire life on it. You can change direction on it. Like a mountaineer that basically his life is hanging on a thread, on this one stud, tucked into a rock. Okay, Rabbi Isai, we will, B'ezrat Hashem, finish now. Thank you so very much for coming. Now, the thing is like this. Being that Mariv is becoming later, so we're not going to change the times totally because we'll get confused. So basically, what we'll do is we'll sort of like the 8 o'clock will be really like 8:15. It actually takes people around 15 minutes to drift in, blah, blah, blah. We know that. But if we say the time's going to be 8:30, people will come at 8:45. So we're going to say like it's 8:15. From now on, it's going to be 8:15, and then you got 15 minutes to drift in, whatever it is. Daven Mariv, eat something, whatever it is, come. And B'ezrat Hashem, next time we meet is going to be Mitzvah Hashem Wednesday night. we're learning. The thing is that last week we finished Torah 29. However, I totally forgot to record it. So we will repeat that. The final, it will be a recap of Torah 29, Haftes, and then we'll finish the Bezat Hashem. Tikkun HaKlali, this is what it's story about. The Tikkun HaKlali, Mamshech Levanius is a tikkun of everything. Bezat Hashem, we'll meet on Wednesday. Bezat Hashem. Bezat Hashem, Mashiach, this is time, no? Bezat Hashem.